Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, helping you navigate home care and senior residences.
And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Delvecchio here, specializing in home care, elder care planning, and the senior living industry. Oh boy, let it go. That is always a challenge for those considering downsizing. You know, as our population ages, we are seeing quite a trend of people downsizing, and it could be, for example, a couple where the burden of home ownership is becoming too much and they'd like to downsize, or maybe it's a widow or a widower that may feel the house is too big for them now, or something I see a lot in my world. There may be some aging related challenges such as mobility issues where the stairs are becoming a little too much to navigate, or even some cognitive issues where it might not be as safe to be in a house. So there are people that are considering a downsize, but then they start thinking about the potential move and what am I going to do with all my stuff? I often get asked for recommendations of people that can help with getting rid of their stuff, as well as how to properly and effectively downsize. Well, I have just the person, and that's why I'm very pleased to have Stefanie Cadou with me here in studio. Stefanie's a real estate broker with Royal LePage Village, specializing in downsizing, transitioning, and assisting older adults with the sale of their home. She holds a senior real estate specialist designation. Yes, indeed, there is one. Stefanie, welcome back to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for inviting me again.
Well, thank you for coming on. I always have you back around this time of year, Stefanie, as many boomers and older adults are considering a downsize, because, you know, downsize can be a very stressful and overwhelming process. And why is that?
Because it's all about emotions, and let's face it, it's not fun. Okay, most people would rather spend the afternoon at golf rather than clean the garage. Unfortunately, it has to be done, and it's only human nature. We all think that we'll address it one day. I have time on my hands. No, nothing to worry about. We procrastinate, and that becomes a problem because very often people wait for too long and they don't have the physical ability to address it anymore.
Interesting. And you're right, emotional. And because you may have things in the basement, you may have pictures, and it's all, a lot of memories are there, and they don't want to lose those memories, or they feel they're going to lose it, right?
Truth be told, we wouldn't own it if we didn't like it. So obviously, it's very personal. It's history, it's memories, it's presents from family, relatives that may no longer be with us. So I don't know anyone who decorates their house with stuff they hate, right? So we're attached.
And I think a lot of it, and I think you see this as well, especially with the generation of the baby boomers, many of them came from nothing. They worked so hard, and they've spent a fortune, their savings, on furniture, and to be able to have to unload that because it might not fit in that adds to the emotion that you see all the time, right?
It does, and even more than the financial value, I would say the sentimental value when they realize the kids don't want their stuff.
This is
That's a
true.
killer.
You know what? That is very true. They have worked hard and they paid a lot of money for it. And then, hey, do you want this or that? And it's usually no.
No.
And they get insulted.
Yes.
But I understand. You know, it's because they've worked hard for it. Well, you know, let's start getting a bit of advice from you, Stefanie. And if you want to downsize and sell your home, why is it important to declutter first?
Well, the word downsize says it. You're moving, for instance, from a 4-bedroom home with a basement and a garage to a 2-bedroom condo. The content of the house is never going to fit in that condo. So you have to take into consideration your new residence, your new location, but also your new lifestyle. So you may not need everything that you currently have in your house.
So I guess it's a combination of maybe there's a little bit of mini hoarding going on. You're
We're
cluttered.
all hoarders.
This is true. And so you have to deal with that. And then you also have to deal with the fact, like we were talking about, maybe some furniture just simply won't fit. So decluttering, obviously, a very, very important. I think you were talking to me off air about some wall art that was as you were moving into.
Oh, my. I had clients and when I say that, please understand we hire professionals to help us with the decluttering and the downsizing. Please listen to them. It's gonna work to your benefit. I remember clients who moved from their house and they just couldn't get rid of anything. They were super attached to everything, and they had a crazy amount of wall art. But they were moving to a condo, 2 bedroom instead of four like in their house, and it was a corner unit, beautiful, with two full walls of windows.
So basically,
So
no
basically,
walls.
no room, no walls to hang on the frames. And this condo was full of stuff, and the poor gentleman was using a walker, but there was stuff all over the floor, over the chairs, over the tables, in the kitchen, in the bath. It was it was like living in a storage unit. You
And
can't do that.
and yeah, I guess, and those lovers of wall art, and all of a sudden, in a condo with floor to ceilings windows. Now that's part of that decluttering and downsizing process.
Definitely.
Well, let's get into some downsizing tips, Stephanie. And I'm talking with senior transition specialist Stefanie Cadou here on Life Unrehearsed, and we're talking about downsizing. And if you were to, what's the first thing you need to do if you want to start that the downsizing process?
Well, you said that I come back here around this time of the year every time. Well, um, I'm like spring cleaning to your show. We have to do it at least once a year. Well, downsizing's the same thing. Start early. Even if you're not planning to move anytime soon, I'm sure you have stuff in your house that you're not using. And a good trick for that is you do it seasonally, like spring cleaning, like fall cleaning, when you put away the garden furniture, even after Christmas. We all have different themes of Christmas decorations. If you have a color that you haven't used in 5 years on your Christmas tree, get rid of it. Don't wait for the special occasion.
So start early makes sense.
Start early. Use it one room at a time. Again, listen to professionals. I just have a client who got help from her family. They meant so well. They were fantastic, but they came and emptied the condo, everything from the kitchen cupboards, the closets, the drawers in the bedroom, the bathroom, everything was on the floor. And they had to pack and decide what was going where. But that process delayed merchandising the condo because I could not have pictures done in the condition.
Stuff all over the place.
It's stuff all over the place. So there's a method to the madness. Start one room at a time and you make 3 piles. Yes, I'm keeping because I'm sure I'll be using in my new place. Maybe, I'm not sure, we'll get back to
That's
it.
the second pile.
That's the second pile. Has to be the smallest pile. And then there's the no pile. And the no pile, you get it out of the house ASAP because you're going to go for a break and look at your no pile. And sure enough, stuff is going to make its way back to the yes pile.
Maybe, yes,
Okay,
I can
so
see it happening.
It's human nature.
All right, and then I guess if you're going from a bigger house into, say, a condo or into a smaller apartment or into a retirement community home, you're not going to have as many rooms, right?
No,
So,
no. So you empty. You start off with the rooms that you're going to eliminate in your new place. For instance, you move from 4 bedrooms to 2. Well, you have 2 bedroom sets that you don't need. You won't have a basement in your condo. So start purging that. Work with those rooms first and eliminate all duplicates. When you live in a house, we all have tools and we use them. But in a condo, seriously, you don't need as many tools. So one good screwdriver is good enough. No need for the full set.
Stephanie, we have to head to traffic, but you also talk about downsizing parties. Real quick, you have, I think, a real good example of a downsizing party. What is that?
Well, it doesn't have to be a sad event where everybody's miserable. Invite the family over, invite friends over, and go through your stuff. And I guarantee the memories you're going to share, and you're going to share good laughters. I did it with my sister, my daughter, and my grandmother, who was 99 at the time. And we really learned stuff about my grandmother's life that there's no way we would have known if we hadn't had this day together going through her things. So we got a lot of work done. And we got wonderful stories that we still laugh at today. So
And you learned it. You've
we
known your
learned,
grandmother
for
your whole life,
sure.
and you learned new stuff. Talking with Stefanie Cadou, Senior Transition Specialist. Stephanie, we have to head out to traffic. When we come back, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Where can we get rid of this stuff? What can we do with it? And how can we maximize the value of our home? So that's going to be coming up next. Welcome back. You're listening to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Del Vecchio here, and I'm talking with real estate broker and senior transition specialist Stefanie Cadou about downsizing and how to get rid of your stuff. And indeed, it is emotional, as we were just talking about. Stephanie, going to bring you back in here. I know you've got a great checklist. I get asked this all the time. Okay, Matt, I know. I got to declutter. I got to downsize it. I got to get rid of this stuff. But where do I get rid of it? So you've got a full checklist. Can you rattle off a few of them?
Well, yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question. So first thing, speak up. Don't keep it a secret. Tell everybody you have stuff to sell, you have stuff to give away. Okay? Everyone. Estate sales and garage sales. You won't become rich from those, but you're going to get rid of a lot of stuff. Social media, such as Garage Sale, Marketplace, Kijiji, but please be extremely careful with that. If someone needs to come to your house to see your dining room set, make sure you're not alone at home. And for smaller items, meet the potential buyers in a public place, preferably where there are cameras. Okay,
Yeah,
better safe
nowadays
than
there's
sorry.
poste quartiers all around, and
Absolutely.
that's getting popular. Yep,
Safety
good point.
comes before money. Donations. So donation centers like Eco Centers, Nova thrift shops in the West Island, Renaissance, Welcome Collective for the refugees, Entraide Diabétique du Québec, Le Chaînon. There are plenty of people who need stuff. And what you cannot sell, what you're not keeping, what you can't donate, discard it, get rid of it. So
So,
you
for
can
example, just to discard, because we get that after you've done all that, you can't give it to family, you can't even donate it, you can't get rid of it at a garage sale, and you discard it. So there are a couple organizations that do that besides 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I think we all think of. What is
There's
is it?
also Eco Collect that I like to
Yeah.
work with. They come with 2 trucks, one for donations and one for discarded stuff, and they'll take it.
Just a sidebar story. You told me a story about a garage sale. This is not, you're not going to get rich with a garage sale, but you'll get rid of some of your stuff. If you could share that, you talk about emotions and garage sale. Tell me what happened
And
with a couple.
it's funny. It's really funny when it's a couple that's involved, because they're not usually on the same page. One is always more of a hoarder than the other one. So I had this couple doing a garage sale, and he was working his head off to sell everything at ridiculous bargain prices, and she was getting so mad she was sneaking stuff back in the house and is behind his back.
I could see it. The couple not seeing eye to eye, and
for
it's
sure.
all about just trying to one way of getting rid of the stuff, and that's the smaller
And it's
stuff.
silly arguments like, no, you don't make meatloaf anymore. You don't need that pan. Yeah, I'll make meatloaf if I want to.
Oh, you could see it. Well, all part of the emotion and the decluttering process.
Yep.
All right. So there are some wonderful organizations, refugees. We had the Welcome Collective. You mentioned them. They were on our show last month. Nova Thrift Shops. I'm a very proud board of director of Nova. I'm glad you mentioned Nova. All that money there raised at the thrift shops goes to Nova and helps with their nurses and so on. So there are a lot of good causes, refugees, first-generation immigrants, the needy. And so if you can't sell it, there are people that can certainly benefit from this
Definitely.
stuff. All right. Now, a lot of question that I get a lot, and I'm sure you do as well. Especially, it's very interesting this time of year, right? I mean, I think a lot of people have been holding back with either buying or selling. They've been waiting for interest rates to level off. It seems to have leveled off. It may even go down now. And I think there's some pent up demand. So if
Yes.
people are considering to sell their home, maybe because of downsizing, like we're talking about, what can they do to maximize the value of their home if they plan on selling, let's say, in the next year or so?
Number 1 is clean. Clean, clean, clean. Cleanliness is key. Why? Because even if it's not renovated, it's not going to look dated. It's going to look vintage and maintained. So thorough cleaning everywhere. And I'm thinking even light switches, doorknobs, baseboards, everything. It has to be impeccable. Number two is neutralize. Neutralize the colors, neutralize the look, neutralize the smell. I remember walking with clients in a house, and the very first thing that greeted us was a gigantic picture of their wedding day. Well, we weren't visiting the house. We were visiting these guys.
You were at the wedding.
Exactly.
So you know what? It's interesting you say that, because what do you suggest? All of them, many people have that wall of fame and endless pictures and stuff. So when you say neutralize it, you want to cut it down deeper
because what you want is for the buyers to picture their belongings in your walls. If they're overwhelmed with all your collections and all your trip souvenirs and everything, they're never going to imagine their couch in your living room. Mm-hmm. It's too personal. You have to transform your home back into a house.
Talking with senior transition specialist Stefanie Cadou about downsizing, and now we're talking about how to maximize the value of your home. Stefanie, I always get asked, for those that are considering the sale of a home, should I renovate? Maybe I need to do the kitchen or the bathroom. I'm going to bring up the value of the home. Or maybe I just need to repair. How do you respond to that?
I would lean towards repairs, because repairs will prevent the value of your house from going down. Renovations are based on two things: your personal taste, your personal lifestyle. What tells you that your renovation is what your buyer would have done? You understand?
They may end up renovating your renovation.
They may. Yeah. They may. It's a gamble. It's risky.
If you're saying, okay, you're going to be at your house the next 5-10 years.
Oh, then go ahead. Have fun.
If we're talking that 1 year period.
To increase the value of your property, it's very risky.
Well, and I've seen you work, and you talk about repair. I think this is one of your specialties, Stefanie. Because you've got a good eye. You can walk through the home, and rather than spend the tens of thousands of dollars of renovation, maybe it's a few $100, $1,000 in paint, in little repairs here and there. It's going to bring up the value immediately, right?
For sure. And the best way to find out what needs to be done is to proceed with a pre-sale building inspection. You don't want your buyer telling you about the condition of your house. You want to tell him. And the best way to do that is to do a pre-sale building inspection, which becomes part of the declaration of the seller. You give that to the buyer before he does his offer on your house. It also gives you the possibility to maybe fix certain things that you weren't aware of that could affect the value of your property. For instance, foundation cracks that need to be injected. Think of expenses that are not fun for the buyer, okay? A leaky roof, foundation cracks, plumbing issues, electrical issues, changing a electrical fuse box to a breaker box. Those are expenses that are not super heavy, very expensive, but it makes a difference to the buyer because you got grandfather's right for the fuse box.
I love the idea of a pre-sale inspection because you're disclosing everything in advance. Yep. And you don't have to repair it. You're disclosing it. And when they bid on your house, everything that's involved and what's wrong with the house. And you're putting a price on that. So they can't renegotiate that because they know it in advance.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're out of town. We could have you on out of time already and soon out of town. Always great words of advice, and really appreciate you coming in here, Stefanie, on a Sunday. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, you can give me a call at 514-885-3524 or visit my website at movingsenior.ca.
So that's movingsenior.ca.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Great words of advice.
Thank
really
you,
appreciate that. That's Stefanie Cadou, real estate broker and senior transition specialist with Royal LePage Village. In fact, Stefanie and I are going to be doing a presentation this week on downsizing and senior living trends. It's going to be this Wednesday, February 28th at Le Cambridge Residence. That's in Point Claire. It starts at 2 p.m. Again, Wednesday the 28th. It's a free presentation open to the public. but you need to register in advance. And you can call the Cambridge at 514-694-8383. I'll give that one more time, 514-694-8383, or just look them up under La Cambridge, and there's a contact number there as well. All right. Well, next week on Life Unrehearsed, medical assistance in dying is becoming a huge topic these days, and I'm going to be talking to one of Canada's leading experts on this matter. And did you ever wonder what's involved in being a liquidator of an estate? Well, it's not easy. And I'm also, believe it or not, March 3rd, next Sunday, is World Hearing Day, and I'm going to be talking to the executive director of Hear-Entend Quebec about some of the amazing progress being made for those suffering from hearing loss. Thank you very much for tuning in to Life Unrehearsed. As a reminder, for all your inquiries or assistance with life transitions and home care, you could reach me at Lianas Senior Transition Support. I want to thank Dimitra Kritidimas and Dario De Felice. Gave me a great hand on today's show as usual, and you could listen to Life Unrehearsed here on CJD 800 every Sunday at 4 p.m.